What's going on, guys? Welcome to my backyard. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What's that over there? Yes, that is the compost. It is time to replenish the soil for my next grow cycle. This compost is about 4 months old now. I made this pile before my previous grow, which lasted about three and a half months, 99 days. So the process that I go through is the soil that are in my pots that I just grew with, or the compost, will now be put over here. This is my bit of a makeshift compost area that I just made with some recycled stuff I found around the place, and I'll garage. See, that's all some of the soil scraped up. And what I'll be doing is I'll be putting half of the previous compost mixed with this good fresh compost. Here we have some of my new made soil. So what I'm doing in this process is the old soil comes back here. See, it's got a bit of perlite, you can see that in it, but it's really mostly just compost. So the old soil goes here. I then mix half of that old compost with half of the new compost. This here looks very similar, but is actually more worm castings. A lot more worm castings than this. This was a big bucket. All my families I've been defoliating. I've been putting in a big bucket full of red wiggler compost worms, and they've been going to town on that. So this is filled with much more eggs and worm casting and red wiggler worms. So I'll put one scoop of that in, half old compost, half new compost, and then I'll get out some of my ingredients here. This is what I've got on hand anyway. So this is Recharge. As you know, it's a microbial active mix. It's got lots of different bacteria, microbes, bits of molasses, humic, fulvic acids, lots of good stuff for rebuilding soil. Recharges soil, exactly what the name Recharge. So I use 1 tablespoon of that per 9 litre. So 1 9-litre watering can for each one of these 45 litre grow bags. And I put Recharge as 1 tablespoon. I put organic gardening microbes. I put just like 10 mils of that or so in. I put some Epsom salt. Put a big tablespoon of salt. I put just a splash of molasses, organic molasses. Maybe a teaspoon or so, tablespoon. And then I'll put in a good scoop of this organic guano fertilizer. It's actually 0.170, so it's a very high phosphorus fertilizer. But that will just ensure, and this is what it looks like here, that will just ensure that this will start to break down given the 4 weeks until flowering of the autoflowers, and then it'll give it plenty of time to break down and be readily available by the time 4 weeks comes. So I then mix all those together in one of these 9-litre watering cans, all those ingredients. I then mix half old compost, half new compost, a little bit of this worm casting compost, and then I water that 9 litres into it, mix it around with that with this bat guano fertilizer, and then it makes one of these pots, each of that. And I'm going to do that 18 times because I have 18 of these 45-litre pots to fill. And once I've done that, I'll be putting them back in my grow area and restarting the cycle all over again. I'll be germinating some seeds shortly, and I'll plop the seed straight in there. It's the good thing about using this old soil is because I've used so much mycorrhizae fungi, a lot of the really good stuff too, and a lot of these fine, let me see if I can get some for you. Here we go. Yes, there's a lot of these fine root hairs in here. And what these are, is these don't, so you would think they would be bad, but I think they're actually very good to have because I've used so much microbial supplements during the cycle. A lot of the mycorrhizae fungi, the way they spread is by roots. And if you buy a lot of the extreme gardening products and the myzite, a lot of the mycorrhizae products, they're actually plants that have been inoculated with mycorrhizae fungi, and then their roots then cut into a powder form to actually create the product. So the mycorrhizae fungi live on a lot of those roots. And if you look at a lot of the ingredients of these products, you will find that a lot of them can be root cuttings. So you're actually buying the root that's inoculated with this mycorrhizae fungi. So those roots are going to be a great supplement to the fresh compost, because as good as this fresh compost is with nutrients, and it's very nice and fluffy and very rich and full of other microbial life, it's not full of the mycorrhizae fungi, which is used more for living plants and used and is a mycorrhizae fungi is actually grows on living plants in living roots. So there's not going to be so much of them in here, but because I just finished that grow and only a few days ago, there's still going to be plenty of this mycorrhizae fungi on those roots. So using that in a way that in a way more efficient way, it's just going to ensure that there's a very big colony of mycorrhizae fungi starting out in these soils and these composts. And so you know that when you're starting this organic grow and you're starting this new cycle and new soil, that eventually there's going to be plenty of life in that soil. So if you also look, there's lots of wriggly worms in this soil. Red wiggler composting worms. And there's lots of them. They're great. So you know this is going to be full of worm castings also, which will just create more bioavailability for these plants to uptake. So this good compost mixed with the old stuff, which has a lot of mycorrhizae fungi hidden in all these fine roots, will make a great start to the plant's life, and honestly will ensure that I'll need little to no product. This compost plus this old soil will be all I need to start this next grow. And with the remaining soil that I might have left over, that'll get mixed in here. I've got some comfrey tea that I've made. I've steeped comfrey in water and made a very bioavailable water fertilizer where the comfrey is dissolved in water. And I'll put that all over here. This has got natural soil mixed in. I'll mix in all that mycorrhizae fungi. Here's some fan leaves from all the defoliating. And then that'll go in, this is my worm bucket. So that'll go in here. This one's full of worms. And that'll be my worm castings for the next grow. So by the time my next grow comes, I'll have fresh compost here, I'll have the old compost from the grow, and I'll mix those two together and repeat the cycle again. And with little to no products, those products that I do use, in the mixing of the new soil, isn't necessary. This would work on its own. That's just giving it extra boost. That's just really making sure that there's a really active life of microbes and a colony of life living in there. It's just really ensuring that, but it's completely not necessary. I've got a big garden that I'm yet to show you, big permaculture food forest, and I'll go in there and get a bunch of more comfrey leaves. There's actually quite a lot of stinging nettle just outside here, if you look. So I'll also grab some of that. That's really good for activating compost. So there's a creek all the way down there. I don't know if you can see it. It's very green out here now. We've had a very good flood cycle come through. There's some sheep, guys. So yeah, guys, I'll leave that here. This is my cycle of how to grow organic, high quality, efficient, sustainable methods that you can constantly repeat, rinse and repeat with consistent, successful and good results. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to give it a like and a comment. If you have any questions or any sort of suggestions that I could do to make these videos better. I am very new to this, guys, so please bear with me when it comes to this stuff. I'm still trying to learn how to talk in front of the camera, but I am learning and willing to... Oh wait, there's a creek there, you can see it there. And I'm willing to share some of these knowledge of how I've grown in the past. My last harvest is actually drying right now, and you'll see that in another video, but I'm hoping I'll get up to maybe a whole kilo from that one grow. So really in like a 3 meters by 1.6 meter area, I was able to grow 1 kilo using these methods, which are sustainable, almost free. You don't need too much knowledge, and you don't need too much experience to work with. As long as you've got enough to repeat each grow, so as long as you have enough for your next grow, then that grow will then become your next grow, and you can keep doubling over and over again. Alright guys, thanks for watching, bye.